Hello, and welcome back into Winchell's World. Now, I want to talk a little bit, first of all, about pipe filters. Pipe filters. I thought, I don't believe that sounded just right. So, anyway, uh, first of all, let's think now uh, to filter or not to filter. Do you use pipe filters? And you might ask me, well, do you use pipe filters? Well, yes and no. You say, now, how could it be yes and no? Well, maybe I should say it this way. Sometimes, not all the time. And I've noticed now, a pipe that I got, I don't remember what pipe it was, and I don't remember when it was. I got a little old filter with it, and I don't know any other way to put it other than this way. It's just a little old cheap rolled up filter, okay? And so they, I don't view them as being very productive. And of course, everything I'm saying is my opinion. And so I guess I'm somewhat opinionated. So if you notice something different in your world, so be it. But here in Winslow's world, as far as pipe filters go, I don't use them every time. Matter of fact, some of the pipes I got won't take a filter, no kind filter. But you can get these real cheap filters, and really, that's what they are too. They're just a cheap filter. And to me, it just reminds me of taking a newspaper and just rolling it up and getting it wet, because when you get through with it, you're just going to have a wet filter. And so, anyway, but there are some filters that are better than that. And I want to talk to you and show you some things about filters. Now, I've got these filters here, white elephant, and so activated charcoal filters. Now, these are different than those cheap, look like to me just rolled up with a little hole up through the middle of it filters. And I want to show you what to look at in a minute. Now, there's two different sizes of filters that I know of. If there's more than this, I wish I knew, because I got one pipe. It's got a pretty good sized hole in it, but it won't take the smallest of these kind of filters. So, but anyway, there's a filter. Let's see how I can do this. Let me try something like this. So you've got two. This filter, of course, you can see, even though it's taller, it's bigger around also than this filter on this side. So this is a bigger diameter filter than this filter. And you can see also that I'm holding it about level. One's taller, longer than the other. So now these filters here, being charcoal filters, I want to show you, and I'm going to move this camera around. So if you're a little sensitive to movement, then maybe you need to look off for a moment. And then I'm still moving the camera around. Let me go down with it like, let's try something like this right here, maybe. Okay, right there. And I might just go a little bit more like that right there. Now, I'll tell you what I did. I cut open one of these used filters. And this charcoal filter, this is what it looks like then. You got all of these little pellets in there. So what you've got here with this then is somewhat of a, well, it's paper, but it's got a, it's like a little tube with them little pieces of charcoal in it. On the end of these filters, this was wet this morning, and I don't know whether I can get this open or not. Yeah, there we go. So you see there what's going on. It's just paper rolled up. Now what I wanted to show you though was the end piece. This is the end piece right here. I guess you see that. And that's a little piece of, listen, I don't know anything other than call it other than plastic. I don't think it's wood, and I really don't want to call it plastic. I, so that's what's in the end of them right there. So you've got something that's stable in each end of them filters. You've got this here little hard piece, like I've shown you there, in each end. And then all through the middle, then, of course, now whether you can hear this or not, I don't know. If you heard that, though, that is them little charcoals. And I'm going to tell you something about these kind of filters. They hold up longer than those just rolled up paper filters. And when I say they hold up longer, now you can tell the difference in this one, brand new, never been used, and this one right here that I used this morning, and I know I've used it before, and I might have used it 3 times. And so you say, well, so you would use one of those filters more than once? Personally, yes. You say, oh, that's dirty. Okay. Well, I ain't saying that it is, or I ain't saying that it ain't. And so, but I will say this: sometimes I try to save $1. Okay, so that's what those filters look like. And it's not this particular brand. I've had another brand here, but I don't remember now what the name of it was. And it's the same way. You've got these little pellets in there, these little charcoal pellets that are in the middle of this right here. All right, well, I'm going to put this back up again now, so, because I'm through showing you those things, I think. All right, now, there we go. Okay. So then, and I tell you something else that I do too. Like I say, I don't use them all the time, and every pipe I have don't have them. But sometimes to try to save a little bit on having to buy some more. Uh, somebody might say, "Well, I enjoy the full flavor." Well, I do too. And for example, the Bulldog Peterson Bulldog that I use just about every morning, probably 4 days a week. It's an army mount, so I'll go ahead and fill up my pipe and start smoking it. And then after I've got maybe a third of the way down, then I'll pop in one of these filters. So I'm getting the full benefit of it. The first part, which most of the time with most tobaccos, especially aromatics, but most of the time, with most tobaccos, though that first third is the best anyway. Although that's not to say that the other part's not good either. And with some tobaccos and some pipes, maybe all the way close to the end. But anyway, so sometimes I'll pop a filter in after I've been smoking a while to sort of help save on, using it up so much faster, using it so faster. So anyway, I think that's all I meant to say about pipe filters. So Anyway, we'll go outside. And you want to go outside? Let's go outside and do something else. You want to? Well, back again and outdoors this time. And unfortunately, I can't see the thing to see how long I've gone or how long I'm going to go. So, and today, since it's Monday, got my meerschaum pipe out here on Meerschaum Monday. And within this pipe, tell you what I got. Got this stuff right here. Of course, I guess you can see what it is there. I can't see the camera. I do think I'm on it and in it, and but anyway, we'll find out. I hope I don't have to cast it. But anyway, so today I got this Peterson's, the 3 P's. The perfect Peterson's perfect plug is what it is. So I got a plug tobacco, and this I just got this can right here to show you what it is, and I also got to read what kind of tobacco it is. But I obtained it long about this time last year, and I smoked some of it last year, and I thought I'm gonna put this in a jar, and I'm gonna leave it till about this time next year. So we are about this time that I was thinking about opening it up again. So it's been in a jar for a year. And so here's what we got. It says this tobacco is get right down to the nitty gritty. It's a Virginia leaf from Africa, Brazil, blended with burley leaf. So you've got in Virginia and burley. These tobaccos are lightly cased before drying and pressing and are then heated and stored for 2 weeks before cutting. Okay, so that's the process and that's the leaf. So you got burley in Virginia. It's been pressed and tinkered with, and so thus you've got the Peterson's perfect plug. And I'm sure it's gone out. We'll look and see. Needs a little moving around of some ash. And maybe I got this little Zippo lighter that I had trouble lighting outdoors with fixed maybe by pulling on a wick some. I meant to bring a pipe cleaner with me, so I know what's going to happen. We're going to get the bubbling going on down in here directly. Well, yesterday was Mother's Day, wasn't it? So did you enjoy spending time with your mother, or maybe give her a phone call, or maybe you sent her a card, or maybe you just remembered? That's what I did. My mom was gone, so she passed away several years ago in the 1st of May. But I hope you have your mother with you, still here on top side of earth. You know, I got thinking about Mother's Day and my mama and things like that. Got some good memories of my mama. You know, ain't nothing like a mama's love, is it? I love my daddy, and that's one type of love, and I love my mother, and that's a different type of love, although it's so closely related. But there's just something other about, a mama's love, a mama's touch. Well, the sun's got covered up with a cloud, and now I see the camera. You know, when I was a boy, I was sick one time. Well, maybe that's not the right way of wording that. When I was a boy, one time I was sick, and my mother, I know she took it, rubbed this, had a cold, and she'd take this Vicks vapor rub, and she rubbed it all over my chest. And then I saw her, she took a towel and went over by the heater and stood there with that towel by the heater, and then she folded it and brought it over there and laid that on my chest. I never will forget that. Oh, me. My mama, she always tried to make me and my brother something for her birthday, a cake of some kind. Of course, I'm an old school, so I like them old chocolate cakes. It's hard to beat an old time chocolate cake, isn't it? Somebody might say, "What is an old time chocolate cake?" Well, I don't know. I ain't never baked one, but I can tell the difference in a new time and an old time chocolate cake. Make any sense? Mm. I don't reckon my mama ever whipped me but one time. Now my daddy, a different story there. We won't go there, okay? But I did something other. I don't remember now what it was. And she's gonna whoop me. I run from her. I was probably, 8 years old or something like that. She wasn't gonna try to run after me. But she told me, she said, "I'll get you." Well, I wondered what that meant exactly. So, I got around her and where she could have grabbed me and things like that. And that was during the day. Of course, we had supper and things like that. My daddy'd come home from work and she hadn't done anything. When I went to bed that night, she come in there after I got into bed and got under the covers and pulled them covers back. When she came in there, pulled them covers back. And I don't remember what she used. She probably used a belt, I guess. That was the big thing when I was a kid growing up. I remember my daddy, he'd take his belt off and pull it through them loops and double it. You say child abuse, you crazy. You don't know what I'm talking about. But anyhow, so anyway, she kept her word, didn't she? Mama, she was real protective of us. If we got sick with something and she couldn't figure out what it was, to the doctor we go. And back in them days, I remember the doctor we went to. There was a place down in Lewisburg, Tennessee, and we lived probably I don't know, 12, 15 miles away from Lewisburg, out in the country, in a little community called Caney Springs. But you know, the hospitals back in them days, there was one we used to always go to. You did everything in one hospital. It was a big old 2-story house. Might have been a 3-story. No, I think it was just 2 stories. And the doctor, Dr. Kenneth Brown, he'd been an army doctor. Of course, my daddy was an army man, so he was real partial to vets. And so, anyway, you walk in the front door of that hospital house, and to the right, there was a patient's room. To the left, there was where you paid your bills. And the doctor's wife, she run that office where you went in there and paid your bill. So when you kept on walking up the little high hallway, which wasn't very long, then you was in the waiting room, and right there's where the receptionist was. And you'd sit there then, and they'd come take you to the back, and they'd examine you. If they had to put you in the hospital, why, there was rooms all in this 2-story house that was patients' rooms. Over in the back and in the corner was the operating room. Upstairs is where they cooked and where they had some more patient rooms upstairs. All of that in one big 2-story house. So from the paying to the cutting to the examination and the time you need to spend in the hospital is all done in that one big 2-story house. Is there anything like that else anymore? I mean, where the doctor does all the examining and operating, and his wife takes care of the finances. And if you can't pay everything, just come pay them as you can. Now, when you talk about the good old days, I think that'd be classified as the good old days. And while the clouds are here, let me see how long I've been on here. Okay. It's Peterson's perfect plug now. If you decide you want some of it, it's going to be a little wet. Need to let it dry out a little bit before you smoke it, unless you just gun hold or try it. I think it'll do it a little bit better if you let it dry out just a little bit. But anyway, and now it's a little bit strong now. Of course, I've been working all day, so I'm ready to relax with some good tobacco. And I heard something on the news today on talk show news this morning when I was out running some errands, and they're talking about how that they're wanting to try to make the prescription drugs here in America, and one of the ingredients that they need for some drugs, whatever kind it was some ingredients derived from tobacco. But they said they didn't know exactly how they was going to go about do it because the tobacco production is so low in this country. Uh, I ain't getting on all of that stuff, but it's screwed up, ain't it? Mm. Well, I guess I'll get off here and let y'all get on with the rest of your time that you need to do something else or watch somebody else's program, video, channel, whatever you want to call it. So I appreciate you stopping by, lending me your ear, listening to an old man's memories. And if you use them pipe filters, well, go for it. If you don't use them, don't use them. This pipe ain't got no filter in it. You couldn't get a filter in this pipe. You can't even pull this stem off this pipe. You got to unscrew it in a little old hole while you can't hardly get a matchstick in it. So there won't be no filter going this pipe. Only filter it does is from here down. All right, well, I'll let you go then. So till we meet again, why, adios. Wrong button, wasn't it? I ain't editing it. I don't know how to edit. Here,